Well, good Sunday to all of you. It's been a interesting week for me. I don't know about you guys, but mine has been uh, interesting to say the least. I had went all the way from Flagstaff, Arizona to now I'm in Oklahoma, and still dragging my feet as Spirit keeps saying. So it's like, you need to go home. You just need to go home. And I'm still just dragging my feet because I don't know about you, but I sometimes have an issue nowadays being able to feel if I'm in the right spot because the energy on the planet is shifting so much that what used to feel and used to be easy to identify as, ooh, this feels good, where now it's like, not so sure. And so I'm checking things out along the way and having some fun. And I found this cool park in Muskogee, Oklahoma. I've been back here a couple times just to check it out. There's supposed to be a waterfall here, and I can't find it. But um, today is Sunday, and we do the weekly oracle card reading for the collective every Sunday. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber and have come back to watch another video of the weekly channeled messages or cards from Spirit, welcome back. I'm Reverend Dr. Elena Skyhawk, and we do this, I should say we, Bearheart was just sitting here, so he helps too, you know. He's got to earn his keep. And this week I changed the question a little bit. Normally I ask, what does Spirit want the collective to know or to focus on? So this week we added some. Now see if I can remember what they had me ask. Yes, it's something where we need to focus our energy on, stuff that as a collective we need to know for this following week. But that's what it was. They also this time said, what does you want to ask, what does Spirit want the collective to implement this week? Which I thought was interesting. And I didn't even have to pick the cards. I started shuffling, and 3 just whoop, 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 flew right out of the deck. And I was like, okay, I guess they had a very pertinent message. So this is going to be a little tricky today because I cannot find my tripod. So I'm trying to hold on to the phone while I do this. So that might be a little tricky. The first card that came out, here, let me put these on to make sure I get everything read correctly. The first card that flew out says the Ancestral Realm. Karmic release, healing the lineage, and boundaries. So that's the card. And so that you know, this is from, again, the Gateway of Light Activation by Kyle Gray. This is what the book looks like. It's also what the back of the cards look like. Pretty close, because this is what the back of those cards look like. So the first card was the Ancestral Realm. The second card was the Arcturian Light Codes. And I know a lot of people have heard a lot about the Arcturians, and they're still here. So they have a message. This card pulls on the evolutionary downloads, recalling power, and future thinking. And I think that's pretty much what's going to get us out of the mess this world is in right now. Because you can't solve a problem with the same minds and the same thinking that created it. You have to go above and beyond the energy that created the mess that we see in this world today, and we tap into the light of spirit and great spirit, God, creator, great mystery, however you want to call it. We tap into that light energy, and that is what will help get us out of the muck and mire that we are in. The third card is called the Sword of Light, and it's about divine protection, cutting cords, and a breakthrough energy. Hide my face for a little bit. So the Sword of Light. That's kind of a cool card. Well, they all are. I love whoever the artist is on this. He did a phenomenal job. So let's see what the Ancestral Realm would like us to know. Like I said, this is going to get tricky because I can only use the one hand. Whoa. Let me see if it'll stay up there by itself. Not really. A little cockeyed. So the message is this card initiates healing on all levels, but particularly on the family line. There may be some ideas and beliefs in your family that you find limiting or negative. Know that they need not be. Gotta turn the page. Your truth. And that goes with anything that anybody tells you. It doesn't matter if it's family or if it's friends. Just because somebody says something doesn't make it truth. It doesn't make it right, as you can see on what's going on in the world right now. Some people live in a bubble of imagination, I guess you would call it, that they make stuff up. They don't know the difference between the lie and a truth. I grew up with somebody that was a compulsive liar, and he believed the stories that he told himself. Only problem is he forgot what story he told to who, and we would all end up catching him because he forgot what lie he told to who. And so the lies started unraveling, and it's like, wait a minute, there's a serious issue with you. Turns out he was bipolar, which didn't help. But that goes with anything you hear, even spirit. You take what resonates and you discard the rest. And just because they're family doesn't mean they're telling you the truth. I'm finding that out as well with the birth family. I don't know what you would call her, half sister-in-law that I just met in a couple of years ago. 2022, I think, is when I met her. And she had mentioned something about my birth grandfather. And apparently it had been niggling at me, and finally Spirit said, you know now where your birth mother was born and raised, where the family lived. So look up online and see if there is a birth/death certificate for you under her name in that city. And they've been telling me this for a while, and I kind of ignored it. I'm like, but then again, my sister-in-law said that is the only way she would have not continued looking for you after you disappeared out of her room or house is if somebody had filed a death certificate, namely her father, because it was his job, was to file birth and death certificates for the city. So I looked it up a couple days ago, and I was shocked. One record with my name and her maiden name in that city, birth death certificate. Shocked the heck out of me. So as soon as my Social Security comes in this week, I'm going to order that copy, because then for once and for all, we'll know the truth of when I was born, because we still don't know that, even though I've been celebrating August 26th, which is coming up on Tuesday. So if you want to send me presents, I'm very open to it. But again, the truth, just because they're family doesn't mean they have your best interest at heart. They lie, they cheat, they can be criminally involved in something, you just don't know. But you have the opportunity to go beyond the challenges, the energy, the challenging energy of your family lineage. If you are in a particularly challenging time or facing energies that are harsh and even overwhelming, the energy of your ancestors is with you now. They are here to hold a sacred and safe space so that you can rest. Your ancestors are surrounding you now. They are here to seek forgiveness for any harmful decisions that were made without full awareness, and for any negative effects those are having on you now. And I have a feeling, like in my case, that's why some of this is coming out, because when we cross over, every single one of us has to go through a life review. Every single one of us has karma that has to be paid back for any harm that we have done to any living being on this planet. There's karma that has to be paid back. So once they go through that review and they have to experience the harm that they cause people, and they see what it has done to their life, yes, they do start asking for forgiveness. The dad I grew up with did. He came back and apologized left and right for the abuse he put me through. And it took me a long time to forgive him, because what he did was you just don't do to a child. And I'm thinking this possibly could be what is going on now, that the birth family is like, oh, wait a minute, she is still alive. Oopsies. we kind of told our daughter she was dead, and so now karma has to be cleared for them to move forward. And of course, they have to ask forgiveness of the person that was harmed, and that forgiveness has to be given in order for not only the person who did the harm to move forward, but for the person that was harmed, for them to move forward. Forgiveness needs to be granted. So that's what the ancestors are about, and is the wisdom. And I've just recently moved into the north of the medicine wheel, which I think is funny that the ancestor card came up, because that's what's in the north of the medicine wheel. Not just the buffalo, but the ancestors are there. The wisdom that they carry, the help that they're here to give us, along with the buffalo, which is all about prosperity and abundance. I'll take that without any problem. So yes, it's all about implementing the wisdom of the ancestors to help us move forward, to help us clear the baggage of that lineage, so that down the road it doesn't keep repeating itself. The ancestors are surrounding you now. They are here to seek forgiveness for any harmful decisions that were made without full awareness, and for any negative effects those are having on you now. If you have found that a particular family member has been difficult, or a relationship has been negatively impacted because of situations or ideas that stem from the past, know that a great cleansing is taking place at this time. The ointment for the wound is the energy of forgiveness. This isn't about accepting what happened as fine, because it definitely was not fine, especially like in my case, but realizing that the energies of the past no longer govern your present. It's about choosing to create your own happiness and live from your own heart. Keep your boundaries strong, but be open to carving out a new path. One that's full of love, acceptance, forgiveness, compassion, empathy. Because what you put out comes back to you tenfold. So why wouldn't you want to put out more forgiveness, more love, more compassion? Because then you receive it back even more. So now let's see what the Arcturians have to say. And my phone is starting to slip. Hold on a second here. So, let's see. Forgot how to spell it. Yeah, because it goes in alphabetical order. So let's see what the there's the Anunnaki. We talked about them last week. So let's see what the Arcturians now want to say. You can evolve into a greater state of being now. This begins with how you approach even the most mundane of tasks in your own little universe. Show up in ways that you've never shown up before. Instead of checking out of this planet, it's time to check in. Instead of feeling that life is happening to you, realize that you have a huge part to play. Recall your power. Realize that you are part of the evolution of humanity, and it's time to become the leader you were born to be. It doesn't matter if you're leading yourself or a larger group. The key is to create more loving ways of doing things. Honor the ideas or thoughts that you have been having recently. If you have been hearing high-pitched noises, seeing flickers of light, or sensing that you are being visited by beings in your sleep, know that you are receiving downloads from heaven. The Arcturians are with you. So, be on the lookout, because you just never know who amongst us is. I'm not, but you never know. So that is the Arcturian card. Evolutionary downloads. Recalling your power and future thinking. And then our last card was the Sword of Light. Kind of reminds me of Michael's sword. So let's see what it's all about. And hopefully, by next Sunday, I'll have found my tripod. It's like when I left the campground last Sunday, everything kind of just got, because of the what am I looking for? Oh, sword. Everything, because of the rain and the flooding on Saturday, or was it Friday? A lot of stuff kind of just had to get tossed in the car while I was trying to dry out the tent and some of the stuff that was in the tent. And then Mr. Bearheart decided he did not want to leave. And I thought I had put up all the windows far enough to let air in, but for him not to get out. Well, he got out when I started the car and he jumped out. Luckily, I had to stop and fill up the tank of gas before I left Flagstaff, so I only went 5 miles down the road to the gas station. And I'm looking all over the place for him because I'm like, he's awfully quiet. Because usually when we start traveling, he'll cry a little bit. He's back there messing around trying to make a little nest. And it was really quiet. So I tore the back seat apart. No Bearheart. Looked under both seats. No Bearheart. And I'm sitting there like, what the frick? And I heard very loud and clear, campground, come back. I was like, crap. So I got about maybe not even quite a half a mile away from the campground and my phone started ringing. It was one of the camp hosts. And of course I was driving, so I couldn't answer the phone. And she hung up, and then I had turned into the campground entrance and the phone started ringing again. It was the other camp host. And she hung up as I pulled into the camp spot, and she was like, oh my God, we were so afraid, that we found him after you left. He was hiding behind a rock. So he did not want to leave the campground because he was having so much fun there, playing with the squirrels and the birds, and he just had this energy that he loved because of the coolness of being up in the mountain. So we did rescue him. We did not leave him behind. That's why I said he's in the back seat somewhere. He was just up here, but so it always pays to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings as well and what's going on around you. Because if I hadn't been paying attention and if I wasn't as tuned into him as I normally am, I would have made it all the way probably back halfway to New Mexico before I realized he wasn't in the car. And of course I would have had to go back. But I knew something was off and I was listening because it's like, something's not right. So again, we pay attention to our surroundings. We pay attention to all the little messages that Spirit's trying to give us so that we have a joy-filled life. And part of the Sword of Light is about that divine protection. They kept him protected, and knowing that I would be able to hear, oh, you need to go back. He's still at the campground. He jumped out. And it was kind of funny because I went to go pick him up and I said, you ready to go now? And he, plain as day, said no. And the camp host looked at me. She goes, did he just say no? He doesn't want to go? I said, yeah. He wants to stay here, but he can't. I'm not going to allow that. He's part of my family, and we're not leaving him behind. But he made his wishes known, that he likes the cooler temperatures, the trees, the squirrels, and anything else that he can play with or chase, But again, the divine protection was around him and around me that I could hear that he wasn't with me. He had gotten out of the car. And one of the other things, because this also talks about cutting cords, that was one of the things that released me from constantly being pulled back to Arizona, is Cathedral Rock channeled a beautiful message, and I still need to get that up. I promised on last week's that I would do that video. But of course I've been driving, so kind of hard to do it. She gave me this beautiful channeled message, but then she also gave me a cord cutting ceremony, a bungee cord cutting, whatever you wanted, that kept pulling me back to Arizona all the time, because my energy no longer resonates with the desert. And that's what the Sword of Light is also about, is cutting cords and breaking through energy that we need to move forward. So let's see what the actual Sword of Light card, what he says about it. Because again, remember, this is stuff that the collective also needs to know, needs to be aware of, and needs to implement. So when they're talking about divine protection, cutting cords, breakthrough energies, releasing the past, doing the healing with the lineage, that's for everybody. I'm just giving you examples of how it has shown up in my life this last 2 weeks. That way you can look and pay attention and say, how is it showing up in my life? How can I implement the wisdom that Spirit is giving me so that I can move forward and bring even more prosperity, more abundance, more love, more compassion, more empathy into my life? So, this is what he said, what Kyle Gray says. When this card comes to you, know that it is confirmation that you are walking the path of light and responding to pre-incarnation soul contracts to make a difference on this planet. It's also a sign that you have the opportunity to sever connections to fears and limitations. Especially fear. There's a lot of that on this planet right now, and it serves no one. When you know you are protected by the divine light and by Source, there's no room for fear. You can't have love and fear at the same time. So always, always, always keep yourself surrounded with love and the light of Spirit. Energetic cords bind us to situations, loved ones. Losing the book here. And even the past. But you are in a transition now and detaching from unnecessary connections, dramas, and fears. Know that there will be a great severing at this time, and you might feel isolated for a moment, as you will be reconfiguring your circle of trust and moving into a life that is in greater alignment with your highest good. Know that the cords that bind you to loved ones and soul family will always remain intact. It's only the lower vibrational connections that are being severed. Expect breakthroughs and doors of opportunity opening for you. If you feel strongly connected to Archangel Michael, know that his energy is with you now. See, I told you that was his sword. I'm like, yes. There is a whole bunch of noise behind me. It sounds like the geese are extremely agitated. But they've been fun. They were fun to walk with yesterday. Haven't seen a bunch of that many for quite some time. So, that is the reading from Spirit for the collective for this week. What they want you to know. What they want you to kind of like pay attention to, implement in your life. And not just for this week. I'm hearing that this is something they really want you guys, everybody, to start paying attention to really focus. That's the other word, focus. Focus, know, and implement. To really focus on bringing the love energy onto the planet and removing the fear out of your life, because it serves no one. Absolutely no one. Intimidation serves no one. Love serves everyone. So always, when something happens in your life, sit still, connect with Source, and allow the love to flow into your heart. And once you're full, then you spread it out to friends, families, neighbors, the community, and beyond. But always make sure your heart is full of love first. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. And hope you guys all have a very wonderful, beautiful week. And like I said, I will try and get those videos up. The one was going to be about the what Cathedral Rock said, and then also a compilation video of all the animals that decided to show up and give me messages, so that you can see how it plays out in my life. Then you can turn around and see how it plays out in your life. I'm a great guinea pig, I'm telling you. So I'll go through it first so you can see what happens, and then we'll pass the messages along so that you, for one, you don't think you're crazy, that animals or birds or anything else can talk to you and you can hear them, but also so you get an idea of that you're not alone. You're not the only one experiencing these high levels of vibrational shifts. It's happening throughout the world, but we need to stay grounded and we need to stay focused on love. And that's it. And that's what walking the path of beauty is all about. That you stay in alignment, you walk the red road, which is a Lakota thing, where you walk the red road of spirit, in order to stay true to the qualities like the white buffalo calf woman brought down. She gave them 7 ceremonies, and as long as they followed those ceremonies, they would always be in harmony with the great mystery. It's when you start breaking those ceremonies that you get out of balance. The walk in beauty comes from the Navajo, the Beauty Way ceremony, and that's all about bringing a soul back into alignment with spirit. So that's why I always end these with walk in beauty. So we will see you on the next video, and until then, have a great week. Enjoy life. Make sure to receive the love that is coming to you from spirit, and then pass it on to those around you. But also remember forgiveness. Forgive those that have harmed you, whether they really have or not. If you believe they've harmed you, there's energy, there's forgiveness that needs to be done. So whether it's an imaginary thing or whether they really did harm you in some way, the best way to heal and release that person is to forgive and send them love. Walk in beauty, my friends. Walk in beauty.